This is speech 5, and my topic is abortion product of rape, pros and cons. I'm gonna start off this speech by reading my thoughts on abortion product of rape. Bringing a baby into the world should be a happy time for any family, but there are doubts when a baby was conceived in painful situations. The one thing we need to remember is that no baby is asked to be conceived or born. Would you agree? It's neither the baby nor the mother's fault. Rape is a very scary thing. It is the assault by a person involved with sexual intercourse with another person without being the person's consent. I don't believe that any human being should take advantage of another human being's life. There are many ways out in the world for people to get their satisfaction, and I don't think that rape is the one. Any man, or in some cases women, who forces themselves or someone on someone else should be punished. Different women have their own personal reasons for not continuing their pregnancy. As I sat and deeply thought about this topic, I took interest in one particular reason. What if a woman what if a woman was raped and found out that she was pregnant by her rapist? Question. This would be a horrible situation for that woman to be put in. Although abortion is very common, subject is very serious. Abortion is the termination of pregnancy by removing the fetus from the uterus, as we all know. Most people don't believe in killing their babies. There are two sides to our situation. The pros of abortion, your product of rape, are constant reminders that you have of your rapist. You may wish to keep your child. You could have uncertainties about how you will manage this in the light of conception. Questions such as if the baby looks like the rapist or whether this reminds you too hard to raise. It's a good idea to have someone you can explore these spirits with, such as family members or friends. The pros of a certain situation falls under God's law. Thou shalt not kill. Everything happens for a reason. Therefore, any situations you are given, you must deal with it. I believe in God's law. I don't really agree with abortions, but there are situations that cause a woman to choose so. This is my opinion, so does everybody else have one? I chose this topic because of a movie that I saw on Lifetime. It was called Deep in My Heart. It was a young lady back in the 50s, and she was married and she had 2 children prior. One night her husband babysitted the kids and she went out to a movie with a friend. On her way back from the movie, she was raped. She was raped by a black man. She didn't know whether or not the baby was going to be her husband or her rapist, so they had to wait. Her and her husband decided to go on with the pregnancy. So after the baby was born, she had it in a Catholic hospital. The baby was to appear to be Nick's child, where her and her husband decided to give the baby up for adoption, to be raised with someone like that child because they was a white family. And in the 50s, that's kind of uncalled or unheard of such things to be happening at that time. They went on and gave the child up for adoption. In the home that the child was raised in, this child was there till around age 9 or 10. She was there for a long time. So the adopted mother, she got real close to the child. She took her as her own. But then she was adopted out. She was adopted by a white family. She was a mixed child. And this caused problems with the adopted mother at that time and her husband. And they went on to divorce. And the child grew up with just that adopted mother and herself. She went to high school and everything. And then when she started to have babies, she started having health problems. She had asthma for one. So as many other adoptive children, when they get of age, they go back to try to find their birth mother. She didn't know anything about her birth mother. Well, she did find her, and she knew she was mixed. she found her birth mother, and their family took her in, and she went back to the first home that she was raised at to find out some information. And you know, some adoptions are closed cases. They don't tell you anything about them. But this lady knew a little bit about her mother that brought her, because she was one that didn't want to do it, for one, but she had no choice. Her hand was tied, and she asked that if she could keep in touch with her, and she named her Barbara Ann, and she kept that name. And she went on to find her birth mother, and the family took her in. She was raised, she got to meet her other side of her family. It was quite a few of them, but this was a product of rape. Of course, her mama chose not to raise her because of the situation, but then there's pros and cons, like in all situations with abortions. I don't think a woman should just have an abortion, just use that as a birth control method. I wouldn't use it in that. I wouldn't agree to it in that sense. But the pros and cons, the side that I chose is God's law. Thou shalt not keep, because you can't give life. If I took one of your lives right now, I couldn't give it back. Only God gives life. He gives life in the beginning, in the womb. He take life, and He's the only one can give it back. So I don't believe in law, man's law of death penalty or abortions or like that, because we can't give something. Why take something that we can't give? So this concludes my speech